on YouTube. Thank you for joining me. I have a few different people here today who are going to be joining me to ask questions. Basically, this is 1 hour that I give you for free every couple of weeks. And the goal is to answer your questions and help you get kind of unstuck in this online course business and get you moving forward. So if you, let me just see who is here with us. I have been trying out a number of different live streaming softwares in the last few times that I've done this. I really like this one that I'm using right now. It's called Riverside FM. I will likely start using this permanently, but we'll see how it goes with the guests who are joining as well. So if you're here, please say hi in the chat. Let me know who you are and where you're from. And if you have any questions, feel free to pop them in the chat. I am just hunting for the guests who were invited. Basically, if you're part of my free community, you can come on and join me live. If you're not part of the free community, then you can always watch for sure and ask your questions in the chat. So who's here with us today? I don't see any messages. Just pop your name in if you are here with me today. Let me know that you are here so I can see the messages. And it does not look like our guests are here either, so we'll just wait a second and see if anyone is going to join us. Judy, nice to see you. I'm glad you're here. Do you have any questions while we're waiting for the community members who are going to come on here with me and ask their questions? I'm happy to answer anything in the meantime while we're waiting for them. Anyone else who's joining us here who would like to say hello or ask a question? For those of you who don't know me, my name is Brainy Girl. My real name is Kim, better known as Brainy Girl. And Jim is in the lobby. Okay, let me just see here. Okay, Jim. You want to turn on your... Oh, Jim came in. Jim left again. Well, this is fun. I have been doing tech and marketing for 25 years now, and specifically working with course creators since 2010, helping them set up their Thinkific sites. And I am rapidly moving into much more AI automation and how to bring that into your business to flourish in this next few years that are moving very rapidly in the AI space. Judy says, still trying to increase the loading speed of our student dashboard and to improve search. Judy, have you tried Rob Galvin's new CCOS? You use it with anti-gravity, which is a development interface that lives on your computer, basically. And you can create interactive lessons and all kinds of things with it. And I'm not sure if yet he has dashboards available, but it would be worth looking into because you can fully customize them yourself like you can right now with the interactive lessons using CCOS. So that's definitely worth giving it a try if you haven't yet. You have a lot of courses, which would, I imagine, slow down the load speed for the student dashboard. I'm definitely encouraging my clients to use a much more customized version. So instead of loading all the courses and giving them 100 and something choices, you could have a chat bot. You could have an interactive form on the student dashboard that you can help them find the right course for where they're at now. And I think that personalization is becoming much more important. People expect a much more personalized experience because that's what they're used to now, right? With AI. Hang on one second. Let me just see. Yeah. So are you using, Judy, are you using any kind of personalization on that student dashboard to help them get to the right thing instead of offering them 100 courses and saying, find the one you want? So you're learning CCOS, don't have dashboards yet, and recommended Thinkific new solution. I'm not aware of Thinkific new solution. I'm not sure what you mean by that. But regardless of what you're using, I would very much encourage you to use either an interactive AI tool that you build, an interactive form that spits them out at the right place based on answers to their questions. Something like Tally allows you to do interactive experiences through conditional logic. So you can jump them to different places on the form based on what they answer. And you can also jump them to different thank you pages on the form based on what they answer. So it's a really good way to help personalize that experience of where are you now? What would you like to learn next? Or what would you like to do next? Or, whatever the experience is, you can customize that, put it on your dashboard, and allow them to use that to get to where they want to go rather than, again, giving them a big menu of choices that's not personalized at all for them. So 200 courses. Yeah. So I think that's the easiest way to do it, Judy. For personalization, the easiest way to do that kind of personalization would be to use something like a Tally form, put it on your dashboard and say, hey, let's help you find the next right course for you or the next right tutorial for you. And then ask them a series of questions and then pop them out at that right course. Or give them, 2 options at the end. Based on where you're at now and what you'd like to learn, here are the suggestions for the next, for the two courses or 2 tutorials that you should do next. That will really help with churn because they're getting a personalized experience inside of your membership dashboard. The other thing is I would maybe look at using Notebook LM. I'm doing a massive workshop on it coming up soon. I'm just putting up the sales page hopefully today, and it'll be a live, probably about 3-hour workshop. There's so much you can do with Notebook LM, but one of the things that you could really do is you could have a directory of all of your courses with all of your topics in there, and you could kind of make it into a chat bot, which you could then use on your dashboard in order to, again, personalize this experience for them. That is more like a chat bot where they could ask, hey, I want to learn this, and it will, based on the sources that you have in your Notebook LM, it will tell them, hey, based on this. So it's not a personalized form that you have to build. You just upload your sources and let them chat with this ad nauseum. Now, you would upload your sources like a directory of all of your courses with keywords or tags or what they might search for or what they might ask about. It could also double then as a customer service support channel that lives right on your membership dashboard or right within your membership dashboard. When is the workshop? I will have to check my dates for you, but keep your eye on our community because it will be posted in there. I think it's coming up in about 3 weeks, if I remember correctly, but somewhere around that. But I think that might be a really excellent way to create an interactive. It's a using Notebook LM as a chat bot allows you to strictly contain the sources. So that's why I think something like a membership, it would work really well because you could have FAQs loaded in there as sources as well, FAQs for members. And so it could really act as both a support for membership as well as a how do I help them get to the next place that they want to go, right? Does that help, Judy? I don't know if you've played around with Notebook LM or not. I use it for a ton of different use cases, from creating courses, creating workshops to chatbots for certain subsectors of my audience for different things, um, and everything in between. It's a unbelievable tool that's super powerful, and most people just sort of scratch the surface of what you can do with it. So that's why I want to do a whole workshop on it to give you guys some real use cases and ways to implement it in your business now to start utilizing it. And it's a completely free tool from Google. You just need to learn how to use it properly. It's not difficult. There's a lot of things to it. But I think that's why going through it use case by use case and how you would use it for that uh, is really important. And that's what I'll be focusing on in the workshop. Um, yeah. Any other questions, Judy? I don't see anyone else who has joined us who got the invite link. So if there's any other questions, I'll answer them and then we'll wrap it up because I don't see anyone else here who has joined. Anyone else who's here with us, feel free to pop your questions in the chat if you would like to. I'd love to answer them for you and help you through whatever's kind of holding you back a little bit here. I would also love to know, how are you guys using AI in your business? I spent most of last year automating a ton of my business and utilizing AI in ways to really take the pressure and the stress off me. That's not to say there's still not a lot to do. There is a lot to do. However, um, I have very much incorporated it in almost every aspect of my business. So I'd love to hear how it's going for you and how you're utilizing it in your business. I think what I'm seeing from a lot of creators is not knowing what tools to use for what, not knowing what to automate or how. And so part of my goal this year is to help you guys really learn how to incorporate AI, not to use it as a separate thing, but how to incorporate it in the things that you're already doing to make your life easier, make your business move forward faster, increase your revenue, all of those things that we try to do. The reality is we don't need to do it so manually anymore. Oh, Thinkific's AI teaching assistant. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you could certainly use that. Um, let me know what you think of it. Yeah. It's I like the idea of it. Hang on a sec. I'm just going to let Ari in here.
Hi.
Hey, hey, hang on a second. Let's
No worries.
figure out how to change the view. It looked like it was easy when it was just me by myself, but
I was stuck on a screen.
there we go.
That's
Okay,
cool.
we've got it. Can you see us side by side or are you just seeing me?
I can see us side by side.
Okay, fabulous. How are you?
Yeah. I'm good. Am I the only one?
No, I was just answering some questions in chat. Give me 1 second. Let me just finish Judy's question here.
Okay.
I believe they are in testing, but awaiting info. I do have SRT file in the videos, which should help. Yeah. I think that the nice thing about something like Notebook LM, Judy, and using that as your membership chatbot friend is that you don't have to upload SRT files. It actually can just read all the videos. So there's some benefits, and I think it would be worth looking at as a more robust option. But again, test them both, see what you think. Thanks for your questions, Judy. That was great. Okay, Ari. Hi.
I'm sorry, I missed the entire connection. I was staring at a screen that said connecting. Something was stuck, so I finally refreshed it and then got me in. So I missed all the context so far.
Oh, that's okay. We were just talking about Notebook LM as a chat assistant for your membership, as a way to search for videos, tutorials, what you're looking for, ways to bring AI into that so that you can extract yourself and have a customer support plus directory assistant for your membership. That's what Judy and I were just talking about there.
Killer. Okay, great.
Yeah, which would be
So,
something you and I should
yeah.
probably talk about at some point too.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. You showed me some tricks. I actually tried to update the my
Your
data
what? Sorry,
to have
you
it
cut out?
evaluated. My kit, my convert kit data,
Uh-huh.
convert kit data, like all my we downloaded. You were trying to, I think, help me find trends in
Mhm.
my purchases and such. So
Mhm.
we downloaded it as a CSV, and
Mhm.
then I tried to upload it. It wouldn't take CSV. It wouldn't take PDF. It then I converted it into another text file. It kept telling me what to do, and I did that, and it never really took the data. What I did though, because I'm not very, I scrambled up the emails because I didn't want that data up there. So I scrambled up the emails so I would understand them, but they wouldn't make sense for others. So, but maybe that disrupted it. I don't know, but
Yeah, I
I
mean, and
never
something
really
like
thought
that,
it
you could
would.
just take out the emails altogether. You could just remove that entire column from the CSV, right?
And then I wouldn't know who to apply stuff to, though, right? Because not everybody has a first name, last name in it.
Right, but you were looking for trends. I guess you said you were looking
Okay,
for
I see what
trends,
you're saying. Yeah, yeah.
right? If you're doing
I'll
it for
try again.
trends, yeah, you wouldn't need something like that. The other thing is you tried to upload it as a CSV file or a PDF file and it didn't take?
I tried all the types it asked me to do, and I always got an error. Now it's a huge file because I have a lot of subscribers, so maybe it was just too big. I don't know, but
Yeah,
it
are you a
didn't,
Gemini Pro subscriber or just regular Gemini?
unfortunately.
Regular
I
Gemini?
subscribe everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I pay for Gemini, like $20 a month. I don't know, is
Okay, so
that
you
powerful?
are on the Pro plan then. That is the Pro plan. It's not the Ultra
Yeah.
plan, but it's the Pro plan. Yeah. So it could have been file size. There is some kind of limit, although they're very generous with the limits.
Mhm.
Um, did you try to maybe upload? Here's what I would do because you can connect Notebook LM directly to your drive, right? So could you upload it to your drive and then connect it from your drive
Try
instead?
that.
Try that maybe.
Yep, I could try
Yeah.
that.
It's probably
100%.
just
Yeah.
too big. And maybe it's because it's a CSV and not an Excel. Did you try it as an Excel? Well,
I am not sure if I can still do Excel actually because I stopped subscription. I'm Mac based, so I don't know.
sorry, Ari,
I don't
you're
think I
cutting
can
in and out.
save.
You're cutting in and out. Do you think it's your internet connection? How's your internet connection right now?
I've had meetings all morning that were a little buggy, so yeah, it might be me.
Okay. Okay.
Sure
Got it.
thing.
No
Might be
worries.
me, but I don't. There's nothing much I can do. We had so
Nope,
much
that's
power
okay.
outages. There's probably some power out or something.
No worries. We had on and off power for 3 days, the last 3 days, so it's been a nightmare. I totally get it. Yeah.
Some
Okay, so let's ask your question, Ari. You wanted to come on and ask something.
And I was just hitting the button and it took me right there, but I'm happy to ask questions. I always love the opportunity to ask you something.
Mhm.
A question, for example, I built an analytics tool,
Okay.
and I am not entirely sure if it's doing what it's supposed to. So,
So for those of you who don't know, I gave
uh-huh,
Ari kind of early
chase,
access.
I guess.
Sorry, Ari, hang on a sec. You were cut out. You were cut out. Hang on one sec, hon. So I gave Ari access to a small tool that I built that allows you to see your revenue trends. It sort of gives you a little bit of a dashboard that you can pull in your analytics and your revenue from Thinkific and things like that. And you get a snapshot of it. Okay, Ari. So what's not working, hon?
So it seems stuck. I keep pushing the run button. And I have some data in there, but it's always the same and it's not right because I can, if I check with latest kid subscribers or latest YouTube, I don't know, may actually be right, but it's still stuck. So, I mean, can I share my screen and you take a look at what it
No,
looks
this
like?
is something we would have to troubleshoot separately because there's little parts and pieces. And I suspect if what you're telling me is what's happening, first of all, you shouldn't ever have to keep hitting that run button. It works
No, no, I know
automatically.
it should once a week, but it just doesn't update.
It doesn't
And
update.
Mhm.
So it's either the connections. Did you check the trigger?
Um, they
So in
I mean,
app
when I
script on the
mhm.
left-hand side, it says triggers, and that should be weekly.
Yes, that is
Okay.
saying
So
weekly.
it's likely the connections. If it's not pulling in the right information, it's likely the connections. Have you double checked the connections?
Well, they did there's data everywhere and everything. I mean, I can, I can look at there's something there that looks like it's doing something. It's just stuck.
Yeah, I'd be happy to help you troubleshoot that, Ari, but I don't think here I want to go as we're live on to into all of the sort of little tiny pieces that we would have to check because it really doesn't apply to anyone. It's very specific to you. So I would be happy to help you troubleshoot that. If you want to send me a little loom and show me what's happening,
Oh,
I
thank you
can
so much. Yeah, I'd love to do that. Yeah, thank you. I mean,
kind of
and in general, I think this is the most important thing we can do. As soon as we have some history to look at and to just have it all in one piece. And this has been a missing piece for me forever.
yeah.
And I really hopped on the opportunity when you helped us build that. So
Yeah.
I think this is very important. So I'd love to make it work.
Yeah.
And I just don't, yeah, I don't know
It's
where
okay.
where to
Well,
even start. I learned a lot building it. It wasn't
yeah.
difficult. It was
Yeah.
just
We'll figure it out. And I agree with you because what this does is it takes the data from like Google Analytics and different places and presents it in a really easy dashboard for you to read.
mhm,
That's where a lot of people get stuck. They look at Google Analytics and they go, what should I pay attention to? What am I looking at? Why does it matter? Right. So you can put it in this dashboard. And then if you have Google Workspace, you have the Gemini option in your
mm,
Google Sheet. So you can then
mhm,
actually ask it questions about this data and
yeah,
learn even more about what it is that you're trying to learn about.
yeah, yeah, no, that's killer.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on one second. I'm just going to answer someone else's walking wise. This is probably Carla. Hi, Carla. I'm just beginning to accumulate students who have questions. What do you think is the best customer service tool to consider down the road? Yeah. We used to suggest FAQ pages. However, those are not personalized, they're not interactive, and they're only helpful to a certain extent. Um, I would say either a chat bot, potentially a notebook LM chat tool, um, some kind of interactive tool rather than just a static page with the questions. Now, you would need something if you're going to use some kind of chat bot, you're going to need to have that data. What are people asking? So you're going to need a database in the background that gathers those questions so that was that answered appropriately? If not, how do I tweak this? And what other questions do I need to add to my database of questions and answers to help it answer better? So, what do I think is the best customer service tool? Super easy, reasonably tech savvy. All of this depends, right? Like we know we want an interactive tool. So then we need to know, how if we're not very tech savvy and we don't want to do that kind of back end work ourselves, then I would use a chat bot, bot press or one of those that you can load data in and it'll pull from that data. It'll also get all the data from the chat bot that's on your membership or in your community or within your courses. So you can keep updating the bot to answer appropriately. So there's lots of chat bots that you can utilize for this if you don't want to build your own. And that's probably the easiest way to do this for most people. They are experiencing login issues that tend to be urgent. Okay, well, then you probably also need a pop-up chat bot on your site, which again, you could use the same thing, like something like Bot Press that you have, different bots, different chat bots. Um, you would want one for your website, probably for urgent questions that would flag you if something was super urgent and they weren't able to get the help that they need. Um, You could also do a voice agent. That's a little more tech heavy, but right now you probably just need some kind of pop-up chat bot for your website, especially if it's to do with login issues and before they even log in. Yeah. Okay, Ari, hit me. Got another question for me?
Oh, always. You can.
Okay.
How do you see? I'm currently hiring somebody to help me with my Elementor WordPress site, and one of their mandates is SEO. And I'm wondering, like, there's SEO now and GEO and AEO and all this stuff. I know you're supposed to have FAQs on a lot of pages. I know, but would you, if you hired somebody like that right now, what are the sort of things you would tell them to do?
Yeah, great question. I think both SEO, search engine optimization, is important, but also is answer engine optimization, right? And there's a structure to doing it that will help the LLMs pick up some of your information. Now, it doesn't mean Claude's always going to suggest you, or Perplexity's always going to suggest you. It just means you have a better chance of being found when you have things like schema on your page, TLDR at the top, right? Too long, didn't read, with little bullet points. When it's structured with the right header 1, header 2, header 3, right? You got to have the right structure in there. Small pieces of information, not big, long reams of text. So there's some things that I would be asking them, what would you do to increase my chances of being found by LLMs, or my content being picked up by LLMs? And if they're not saying TLDR, small snippets throughout, FAQs, schema, page schema, FAQ schema, I would shy away from probably using them, because it tells me they don't know much about answer engine optimization. At the same time, a lot of the principles of SEO still apply, right? So using the header tags appropriately, that really is an SEO tactic, not necessarily an answer engine optimization tactic. So you would want to make sure that they understand the basic principles of SEO as well. However, that being said, you are not getting as many clicks to your website as you used to. No one is, because so many people are using LLMs and answer engines now. And so if they end up going through to your website to buy something or look at something further, there is a 4 times better chance that they will actually buy if they come through an LLM, because they've had this entire conversation with Chat or ChatGPT or Claude or one of those. And so by the time they actually get to your page or your checkout, they're prepared to buy. They've done their research and had their questions answered in ChatGPT. And so your website is the destination to buy that thing, right? Software like Etsy has integrated completely with ChatGPT. So you don't even need to leave ChatGPT now to purchase on Etsy. Brilliant freaking move. Other businesses are jumping on board. I'd love to see Thinkific jump on board with this.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything about it, but it would be amazing. You look up something, go ask for pretty Valentine's Day cards in ChatGPT, and it will likely show you Etsy listings. Yeah. Shopify is also integrating with it, and it may have integrated already with it.
Can you, as a small business, integrate directly with them, or does it have to be via Thinkific?
No, but Shopify does integrate with Thinkific. So that is a potential strategy, is you put your stuff on Shopify. It's really kept in Thinkific, but Shopify is the front face of it, and integrate Shopify with it. So,
oh my goodness. Okay.
So the question is, what would I ask them? And that would be, number one, what do you think is going to happen to direct traffic to websites over the next 1 to 2 years? And if they say nothing's going to happen, it's all going to be exactly the same as it is right now, don't hire them, because it won't be. It's going to be different. Personally, I would go to ChatGPT or Claude or Perplexity, and I would say, if I need to hire someone for this, give me a list of questions and good answers versus bad answers. You could even do a role play with it. Like you could go to ChatGPT and say, I need to role play this interview that I'm going to do with this thing? And it will role play with you, right? But those are the things that I would look for. Basic, good understanding of SEO, and also an understanding of AEO, answer engine optimization. And really, SEO, a lot of people like Neil Patel are using SEO to as an acronym for search everywhere optimization, not just search engine optimization, which it always has been in the past. So there is something about, all of the LLMs pick up different sources. It could be YouTube, it could be Reddit, it could be Quora, it could be a directory website, it could be a academic paper, right? They're going out and they're searching for these pieces. So that's the other part of being found on LLMs, is having your own website optimized is fantastic. But the real strength comes in being a guest on a podcast, being a guest on a YouTube channel or video, being listed on other sites that are basically giving you clout. The search engines or the LLMs look at that and weigh that heavily. Right? Because it's an additional source of.
You were breaking up in the middle there a little bit, but
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I think I caught all of it, but we're having a bad connection. But I answered a ton of questions on Quora between 2017 and 2019. I literally have hundreds of questions on there. Now, is that enough, or should I also fly them into my own website, or?
Well, it's not enough because you haven't done
How do I
anything with it
capitalize
since 2019, which means it's not recent and relevant now.
Well, my content is not totally evergreen, though. It doesn't depend, doesn't change. And my questions are still, every time I look at my stats, I'm surprised because it's still in the running and people recommend it and people are reading it.
So, I'm not saying it's not.
Actually, I should fly my Quora. Can we fly my Quora stats into my fancy dashboard?
Potentially. I don't know how we would do that. You would have to look at what the connector is. I don't know if there's MCP or something for Quora. What I would say is keep answering. Don't let it go stagnant. So keep answering on Quora, but more heavily weighted than Quora are things like YouTube. So you're much better off continuing to put out really good quality YouTube videos. That is an external source. That's not your website. So it still counts as an external source, right? And a lot of LLMs pull that information in. So if you can take your content, I've always preached, repurpose your content. Now more than ever, it's important to repurpose your content. Take a video and clip it down using Opus Clips or something like that to short form, and use that short form on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook Reels, all of those. And then ask AI to pull some pieces out and create a LinkedIn article, a LinkedIn post, answers to Quora questions, Reddit, everywhere that you can be is more of a signal to the LLMs to give you some weight in their answers.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. And it's really important. Like I just went through some leads that I got last week. One of them came through a referral. Many more of them came through Claude, Perplexity, ChatGPT, and Gemini. Right? So it's important. Now is the time to do that, especially when I know that those people who come through there are 4 times more likely to convert than those who come straight to my website. I'm focusing on those because they can have full conversations, make their decision, and then come over and they're primed and ready to buy or ready to work with me or whatever it is that they're doing. Right?
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you just give me a second, if anyone in the chat has any questions, I'm happy to answer them while Ari and I are chatting. We've got a few more minutes here. Ari, do you have anything else for me?
Well, you were mentioning TikTok, Facebook Reels, Instagram. I've always found there are two schools of thought. One is focus on one or two social media and give them your all, and then there's this idea of repurpose and put it out everywhere.
Mhm.
Do you have a clear strategy of where you stand on that?
I think it's changed for sure. I was the one who said, find one or two channels where your audience hangs out and focus on those. But the reality is, repurposing the content has never been easier than it is now. You have no excuse to make a YouTube video and not make it into 5 short form clips that you can post across all of those, and it takes an extra 5 minutes out of your day.
Yeah, that's
Is it
true.
worth it? 100% I think it's worth it. I'm not saying go and recreate. Previously, we didn't have AI to help us with this. So we had to conserve our energy and really focus on those channels. And I do still believe in having one primary channel,
Mhm.
but all of these other channels take are no sweat at all
Yeah.
to repurpose that content on.
Mhm.
That's my
That's
thought
good.
process on it now.
Yeah, very good.
Are you sure?
Well, I mean, it comes at a great moment for me, because I was literally deciding only do Instagram and YouTube and not the others. But there was a part of me is like, damn, why not just put it out? The one commitment I think I want to make though is I'm nurturing my strong channels
Mhm,
and I'm just putting it out there and not responding on the others because to really make it work, you have to nurture it, right? You have to
mhm,
respond to comments and da 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 da.
mhm,
So I was thinking as you were going, okay, I can repurpose, but I
mhm,
will only spend extra loops on,
mhm.
my important channels. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah.
Go where your customers are actually doing something. I don't think for brand awareness, if Instagram is a brand awareness channel for you, um, I think you could quickly and easily repurpose over there.
Hmm.
You know, I would like to see you focused on YouTube as your primary channel
For
because
sure.
of what you do. And I think I'm not going to say all, but for a lot of businesses, YouTube is where they should be. And it is very much pulled by LLMs for sources. Another reason why you want to use it. They're not pulling Instagram Reels and using those.
Do the LLMs listen inside the video, or do you need to add the transcript in the thing
For what?
for YouTube?
Yeah, but
I
for
mean,
what though?
well, you're saying YouTube is where it's external content. So if I
Mhm.
have a 20-minute video, how do LLMs know what's inside the video?
Oh God, they can translate it like or transcribe it
Okay.
like that. Yeah.
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 Okay.
They know exactly what's in the video. Plus, you've got your header, your subheader, your description, your tags.
Yeah.
I mean, all of that is taken into account. Thumbnail, what's inside the video, all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I got that.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it feel more overwhelming figuring out how to incorporate AI and these things into your business now, or did it feel more cumbersome a few years ago?
Well, no, it's getting easier and easier to incorporate it. It's just that I am finding myself how I make decisions is completely different and needs to be different because it used to be, oh my God, great tool, need to use, right? But now I just really need to think through what's the purpose of it? What's my biggest problem? How do I solve this? And
Mhm,
learn to let stuff sit. For example, right now, this ROP stuff is so fascinating and I love what it's done for me and all that, but
mhm,
I have to force myself to finish my emails, to look at other things first.
mhm,
I'm also feeling like maybe I want to let it sit a little bit until it's settled. You run and be an early adopter, and then things change a little bit. So and I know what he's building there is freaking fantastic, and I can't wait to dive in.
mhm,
But for now, I just made the active decision. I can burn days and weeks on this stuff,
mhm.
and maybe right now I shouldn't. So you know.
Yes, and really, is that any different than how we've always made decisions in our business, which is what are my priorities? Where do I spend the most time to move the needle the most? That's
Well,
for people like me, that's really challenging with massive ADD and being a very creative. I have a million ideas every day, all the time. Prioritizing for me is challenging. However, I use AI to help me prioritize. So I'm not carrying that burden myself all the time now. Whereas 3 years
yeah,
ago, I had to do that. And for 22 years before that, I had to do that.
right.
Are you using it for your prioritization?
I try to, yeah.
Yeah.
But it also can get confusing and it's not always right. You know what I mean? It's often right. It's helping me a ton. Like it's unreal the kind of stuff I can do now that I would never have been able to. Like hiring, for example, I am 50 times more effective.
Yeah.
And you know, I will actually tell you this anecdote because it's really funny. I put my job description, what I need, into AI, and he gave me this beautiful thing, and I'm like, heck yeah, sounds terrific. Post it into my Upwork, and I get responses where I could tell some of them were AI. Now
Mm.
I copy paste that whole thing back to AI, and it says, "Oh yeah, that's your guy," and I'm like, I don't know. So far, all I know is they can take AI and copy paste.
Mhm.
And I kept pushing because I'm not just gonna go because the AI says, yeah, that's your person. Like
Mhm.
I know nothing yet. Of course, you were excited because you were getting exactly the answer you were programmed to get.
Mhm.
So I kept pushing, and it turned out it would have been a disaster. I
Mhm.
insisted on a 15-minute Zoom, and they were like, no, 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 no. And I'm like, okay, that's my process. I won't do it without that, especially in times of AI. So it it's very effective, it's very powerful, but and it forces me to think in very different ways that I find powerful and useful. But
Yes.
it's also like for my personally for me, I know my weaknesses, like you say, like ADD tendencies is
Mm.
like everything novelty excites me hugely. I love novelty. I can just
Oh, yeah,
run with it.
dopamine
But
hits all day.
I also know I
Mhm.
have yeah. And I have an AI that's coaching me and telling me don't go to bed without doing at least this and this and this. And it's also constantly telling me settle down and breathe. And I'm like, oh God. But because it's so
Yeah.
constant and like a little thing that lives on literally on my desktop, it's making an impact
Mhm.
because
Awesome.
it's constantly there. It's like a coach that you have sitting there right next to you. So yeah, it's powerful for sure.
Yeah, I think that's really good, and I also think it's really important for people to understand that number 1, LLMs hallucinate. Number 2,
Yeah.
they work on patterns. They're not humans. We forget that, right? But number 3, and I think the most important one, is the output you get will only be as good as the input you put in. So, if you have done a crappy
Hmm.
job of prompting, if you haven't connected whatever tools you need to connect, they all have connectors now. You got to connect your tools. If you haven't uploaded the right image, file, video, document, whatever it is that you are that's providing context, you are going to get a crappy response, right?
Hmm.
So in all of my LLMs, because I use them all and I have subscriptions to them all, Um, for instance, in Perplexity, I use spaces and I have my growth plan for this year. I have my branding guidelines. I have my tone of voice. I have my instructions for writing emails one to many, right? Like I have everything about the business piece of it in that space. In ChatGPT, I have it in a project and I have specific sets of instructions for each one, right? Including guardrails, what not to say to me, what not to do, um,
Hmm.
what you are forbidden from, right? Like I've made my sets of rules for you.
Yeah.
So I also have employees. I have AI employees. They each have job descriptions, exactly what they do, how they do it, what their names are, what their credentials are. I mean, and so all of those are in as well. So if I need help with um, a contract, I go in and I ask Sam, my lawyer. Now, I'm not saying it should replace your lawyer, but just take this with a grain of salt, okay? I go in and I ask Sam for that thing. Well, he has all the context he needs for it. So he can write that up in a way that's legally sound. Now, I'm not saying again, don't go through your lawyer. Let's take Elise, my assistant, okay? She sends emails on my behalf. She watches emails for me. She she does a lot of the admin stuff in the back end. And she knows what to do because I've trained her how to do these things. And she has the right connections and she has the right context. So there are guardrails in place so they don't go like there's a human in the loop and there's guardrails. So not only do you need to know how to prompt well, but you also need to give it the context it needs. I think a lot of people just think that it's a mind reader, you
No.
know? A lot
Mm-mm.
of people do though. A lot of people think that it can just read their mind, and that's not what it's for. You have to prompt it well and give it the context it needs to give you the output that you need from it.
Can I ask you how you connect your tools? You were saying you connected all your tools and she's writing emails
Yeah.
for you. How do you do that?
Yeah.
You,
Um, so all of the you're not seeing my screen yet, right, Ari?
no.
Okay. So let me go to hold on, let me pull something up here. Why is that not pulling up? All of the LLMs have connectors. So let me hold on. Let me just get out of here and go into my settings again, and I'll show you. And if you haven't done your settings in all of these, you should. So let me do a screen share. And I'm just going to do the entire screen for now. Okay. Are you seeing this? Okay. This is Chat GPT, but all of them have this. So you're going to find this in your settings, wherever your settings are on that particular LLM, right? In my case, it is down here on the left, far left-hand side. On the bottom right is where that is. So now I go up and I have all these settings here. One of those settings is apps. So I have this connected to Canva, GitHub, Gmail, Google Drive, Notion, right? All of these different connectors in here that we can connect it to. So when we're using it, we can ask it, like when we click up, so I go to ask it something, right? I want to make sure it's on the right model up here. I want to make sure that I'm either using standard or extended thinking. And I want to connect anything I want to connect to it here. So I can connect, maybe this thing has to do with Gmail, or maybe it has to do with Google Drive, or maybe I want it to build me a tool and I want to use Canvas, or I want it to help me study something, right? This is where you're using those connectors here. Does that make sense? Yeah. So when I say connectors,
Yeah.
that's what I mean. You need to go and connect the whatever tools you want to connect. And some of them have MCP servers that so you can basically connect anything you want at all. Don't need to go down there, but use the tools that they give you. At least use those tools, right? Yeah.
And it sends emails on your behalf? Is that what you're saying?
No, I don't let it send mails on my behalf. However, it does watch and draft on my behalf.
Oh, cool. Okay, I
Yeah.
got you. And so you
There's
can restrict
also,
that.
again, if you use Google Workspace, you can use Gemini right in Google Workspace to help you draft, summarize, whatever you want, right?
I don't use Google Workspace, but probably should. I keep hearing about it too often.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of it. The only reason I use it is because I now have Gemini within all of my workspaces, which comes in really handy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let me go back to chat for a minute, see if there's any more. Carla says, Kim, please tell me more about connecting tools. Well, there you go, Carla. I just did a little tutorial on it. Let me see. I'm just going to go to one of my other ones here. Yeah, perfect. Okay, let me do a screen share here. Okay, are you seeing this, Ari?
Yes.
Awesome. So in Perplexity, if you use Perplexity, you have options for models that you want to use here. You also have this when you're prompting. And if you go into your connectors right here, here's all your connectors that you've got to enable if you want to. Most people don't even know these exist. Really,
No,
really important to use them because you have them at your fingertips. So why not use them, right?
so would you connect all of them to all of your spaces like Google, or
You
one by one?
well, like if you're in Perplexity, you would do all the connections that you use that are important to you. And then anytime you're in Perplexity, in any space or any place in Perplexity, it's going to allow you to use those tools if you want to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
But all of them have it. All of them have it. You need to go in and make sure that your two-factor authentication is on. So your LLM is locked down. You need to make sure you've done your personalization, your settings, and all of those things as well so that you can maximize the use of these tools.
Okay.
Carla says, what AI tool do I like the most? I don't know if I like any of them. I usually go by what's most useful for me. So I use Claude a lot for writing. I use Perplexity a lot for data mining, research, and building interactive tools. I use Gemini and the entire Google suite of products a lot. I don't use Chat GPT as much. However, I still have it for the few things that I actually do use it for. That's just the LLMs, though. That doesn't include all of the other AI tools that I use to accomplish different things in my day, right? Um, Zapier, for instance, Zapier has Zapier agents now. So it has agentic workflows that can work on your behalf. Chat GPT, one of the reasons I keep it and I keep the pro version is because they have agent mode. Now, I don't particularly think that it does a great job. I use Comet's Perplexity, Comet Assistant way more, which basically lives in my browser. So I use that a lot. It's literally integrated. AI is literally integrated into every part and piece of my business at this point. Um, yeah. What do I think about chat? Um, I think again there's a lot of use cases for it. I just don't find for things like writing, I don't like its writing style. Even when I've trained it well, I don't like its writing style. I think it hallucinates more than the other ones do. I think it tries to please me more than the other ones do. And I don't want to be pleased. I want raw, unfiltered, right? Um, so I think it depends on what you're using it for. And I'm not suggesting you have to use all of the tools. But I am suggesting that as I said I think Arnie, you and I had this conversation before, and that it's not about the tools, it's about the process, right? It's like, what do I want to do? Okay, I want to so for instance, I have an automation set up so that when someone books a call with me through my Book Like a Boss software, it goes into a Google Sheet. So I've got a backup of that information. And then it goes into ClickUp, which is my project management system. And then out of that, a task is made for me to do something. And the date is set and the status is changed if they book a discovery call or book a one-on-one call. All of that's done automatically. Okay. When I record a Zoom conversation with one of my coaching clients or one of my project wind up calls that I do, um, there is an automation that triggers and looks for a new row on that uh, Google Sheet. And if it finds that that matches the call and the Zoom recording that is now ready, then my assistant Elise goes in and she takes that information and she sends it to the client with the Zoom link. And a backup of that Zoom goes into a specific folder in my Google Drive to be held in case anything happens. Don't tell anyone. Um, all of that's automated, and that's just two of many, many automations that are running every day in the background that are helping me with my business. But I didn't start with what tools do I use for that. I started with what is taking too much time. So every day I've got to spend 10 minutes sending the Zoom links to the clients that I met with. I don't want to do that. So I'm going to find an automation that does that, that I can set that up, and that's done for me. That does not need human in the loop to do it. So I start with what's the goal? What's the process? So, what process as a human do I do to do that? So, I get a notification from Zoom that that recording is ready. Step one. Then I go into Zoom and I find the recording, step 2. And then I download that recording and put it in this backup folder, step 3, right? So I have to know the goal and the process to know which tool or tools I need, because all it's doing is automating that process for me. But I still need to know what the process is. So I tell everyone, start writing down or recording on Loom or something every process you do. Much of it can be automated, but you can't automate anything until you know the process and whether that's an effective process or whether it can be enhanced, right? I've been able to enhance many of my processes using AI, but I still have to know the basic process that I have to go through, because that's the steps I'm setting up in my automation. Yeah. Okay. We've got 4 minutes. Anyone else? Ari, feel free to hit me. I'm also keeping an eye on what's happening in chat there. Okay, hold on a sec. Back in the day, we used Zendesk to track customer service interaction and opening and closing tickets. Can you tell me what is being used today? As many tools as were used back then. Some companies are still using ticket support or support tickets like Zendesk. Others are using chatbots to automate this process, right? Others are using voice agents. Like I'm building a voice agent right now that I'm about to put on my website. So when someone comes to my website, whether they're cold or warm, they're going to push that button. They're going to have a conversation with my assistant, answer any initial questions they might have, and she will direct them to the right thing, either working with me one-on-one, coaching call, setting up Thinkific sites, working with them for AI, joining a workshop, you name it. So whatever you use, you need some kind of database to store those tickets. But what I was talking about at the beginning of this, which is what I was talking about, which is a chatbot that would be customer support, it has a database that lives in the back end. So you can track your tickets and you can follow up on your tickets and all of those things. So I personally don't use a ticket tracker. I have other tools to manage things like that. So I don't know if that's helpful. Okay, Ari, last question, and then we're going to wind it up.
Last question. I'm in the middle of writing onboarding series and sales series for all of my courses. Anything that you feel is important now, is different, is invite personal conversation, anything you can think of that you can throw in there to help me?
I would I'm thinking of emails, although I still think they're important. There's lots of people that will argue this with me. Emails are still important. Having that contact information is still important. However, I look at them more now as backup rather than primary means of communication. So primary means of communication, at the end of the day, what people are missing most right now is community, is connection. So how can you give them a space to connect with each other in some kind of community setting? That's going to be far more effective than emails going to them. I'm not saying stop your emails. I'm just saying make sure that you have, and in those emails, let's redirect them back to the community and back to the connection. So it doesn't feel like I'm just getting another email. Also, keep it really human, right? Like I get emails all the time that are so clearly written by AI, and it just makes my skin crawl. I don't want an email written by AI. I want some of you in it, right? You can get it to help you. I get AI to help me write my emails, but it doesn't start from scratch. It uses my guidelines, my words, my tone, my phrasing, and I ultimately do the final edits before it ever goes anywhere. So don't just take what ChatGPT tells you and copy and paste it in, because that authenticity of having your own words and your own tone and your own style and the way that you write is, I think, more important than ever right now. Yeah. Okay. Ari, you're the best. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for everyone who asked questions today. Hope this was super helpful. And if you want to join the next one, make sure you join my community. I'll put a link in the description below. All right.